Hello, everyone, and welcome to Study Hall. I am your host, Aged Boomer, and with me is my co-host, Paha Pacelli.
I love that. It's like, hello, this is Aged Boomer, and I'm here with my co-host Troy. Hey, how you doing? Great to see you all. I am so fired up to be here.
Hold on, getting an echo. There we go. All right.
I'm like, did we change our format here? What's going on?
Well, we're gonna be we think about changing the title of the stream, but we may talk about that in a little bit. We're thinking thinking about ending Study Hall forever.
You can't get all ASMR on me unless you warn me in advance, because then I should have the drink like a half hour before rather than just when we start. By the way, what you sipping on?
I didn't get a drink. Hold on, entertain the chat while I go grab something. Hold on.
I'll vamp for a while.
Take me 2 seconds. Hold on.
I'll vamp for a little while. I myself am having actually my second Moscow Mule. I should let you know that we just came off of recording a pre-show. You'll be able to find that over on Aged Boomer's Rumble channel. He'll drop a link when he gets back. But
okay, I'm back.
I was just telling everybody, peek behind the curtain, that we just came off of recording a pre-show that they can find on Rumble a little bit later. I figure you'll probably drop the link to your Rumble channel so they can find you. Netter would very much appreciate it if you do that, because it's, for whatever reason, Rumble's just difficult to put in a channel name and find them.
Okay, so put my Rumble account into the chat, that you're saying?
Yeah, do that.
I can do that, yeah.
But, yep, I'm on my second Moscow Mule. It's the first time I've made it. I'm not even tasting the alcohol. I mean, I know you're not supposed to taste vodka, but you're supposed to know there's alcohol in it. And all I'm getting is a limey flavored ginger beer, which isn't bad. I mean, it's helping my stomach. But
I have had Moscow Mules. That used to be my go-to drink of choice when I was a graduate student.
No kidding.
That was before I discovered the Tom Collins. But yeah,
that's my dad's name.
Yeah, okay. Well, I know you mentioned that before.
Yeah, right. People don't believe that. In fact, he's been on vacation and introduced himself as Tom Collins, and people don't believe him. He's like, "Look, here's my passport. Here's my driver's license. I'm Tom Collins."
Okay. I'm going to post the link in the stream to my Rumble account. Like I said, we are going to have an exclusive video on there if you want to check it out. It's talking about the wheelchair-accessible dungeons in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yep, won't give anything away. You need to get over there and check it out.
Okay,
it's a good video, I think.
Yeah, we'll make it. I'll probably have it posted hopefully sometime tomorrow.
If you enjoy my rants, you'll enjoy that video. Go check it out.
And if you enjoy his rants, you'll get more of them too tonight, because we have some stories.
Oh yeah, we're just starting, aren't we? Okay, let's get into it.
Well, no, I want to say hi to the chat. I'm sure Nanette is here, so hi, Nanette.
Actually, the first person that was here was Auditor Dread. I want to say hi to. Oh, you just subbed to Aged Boomer on Rumble. There you go.
Well, thank you.
You got a new and hopefully everyone in the stream that we're going to say hi to right now will get over there and subscribe to you too. Hello, Auditor Dread. So glad you're here today. He's looking forward to the show.
All right, we got Melissa Harris.
Something to drink too.
Melissa Harris, Brian Gilmartin, Joshua V. Back to the drawing board. Wolf 10 Media. It was a pleasure. Let me see.
Looks like we got a new name in there too.
Who is he?
Well, it looks like a Horizon Talker. I don't recognize that name.
Horizon Talker. Hello, the chat. Hello, Horizon Talker. Welcome.
Looks like we got a Birdman in the house.
As long as you're not going to call me a women's hygiene product, that's fine. No, I'm telling you, those Pattinson fans, I am going to interact with the next one I see, though, because I have a suspicion.
Did you get a lot of grief on one of your videos about
this? This was a while ago. This was the Robert Pattinson. People are mad at me. They're like, it's like the first time taking online abuse. It's like,
dude, I'm telling you, that stuff is gold.
I know. I need to milk it.
Engagement on your videos is awesome.
I know.
Keep it going.
Anyway, so what was I going to say, though?
We had Jedi Masters Utopia, Joshua V,
Leia Plus Size, I see in the house. Okay.
Leia Plus Size. Oh, and by the way, Leia Plus Size, happy birthday. I know you had a birthday last week, and I missed saying happy birthday to you.
Okay. But yeah, we got a lot of stories to cover tonight. How are you feeling this week, Troy?
Well, I'm on my second Moscow Mule, so I'm feeling pretty good.
That's the
But
second. I love Moscow
no,
Mule.
this has been
I
a
miss.
crappy week, to be honest with you. I almost have to stop listening to the news at this point.
Yeah, it's not good. At least you're not having to sleep in a cold parking garage sucking down exhaust fumes all night. I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? Okay.
Hey, but at least they got put up in a nice hotel by the outgoing administration.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Even the prof's getting political lately. Have you noticed that? It's like, oh, you want to know what I got to drink, right?
oh yeah, what are you
I'm gonna
drinking?
crack it open. I got an orange Fanta because I have to work in the morning.
Don't you wanna find it?
And of course I made the agreement because it was a Lupin movie and I couldn't resist. So I will be on Mr. Matchstick right at 11 o'clock. So you can also catch me over there. Lupin the Third,
Gotcha.
the First, which is a bizarre title.
Lupin the Third, the First.
That doesn't make any sense unless it's the first CG movie.
Is that
and
just
that's
a
why they're
weird translation thing, or
I don't know why they're calling it the first. The only thing I can think of is that maybe Lupin the Third is the grandson of a famous literary fictional thief made in France called
but the first
Arsène
movie
Lupin.
about this third guy?
I think it's the first computer animated movie about this third guy, and this
Okay.
is his grandson. And maybe that's why they're calling it the first, because it's like a start over. I don't know, or it's a reboot, but not really a reboot. Because never mind. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. One thing I'll say about Lupin. Whenever I watch a Lupin special or movie, the creators basically say, "Don't worry, we're not going to change things too much. Okay,
Yeah.
we're going to keep things the same. We're not going to have we're not going to have him drink blue milk out of a walrus tit. Okay, he's just
That
going to be
was
the
green.
gentleman thief or green, and
Yeah.
we're not going to have." I don't want to think about what's going on with James Bond in this latest movie because Lupin's in that genre, the spy genre, espionage genre, assassin genre, also heist genre. It's part of that. Okay,
Yeah.
That kind of world. Like I could see Lupin and Bond inhabiting the same type of universe. But anyway,
If you don't mind, let me take a second
Go right
to
ahead.
thank Auditor Dread. I saw your comment on my one of my action figure videos. I super appreciate that. I just get tickled every time one of you guys goes back, watches one of my old videos, gives it a thumbs up, drops a chat, drops a comment. It's encouraging to me. I super appreciate that.
yeah, thank you. On behalf of Troy, I'm thanking you.
Sure.
But oh yeah, there's been a whole bunch of Lupin the Third movies and specials as well, and this is the first CGI movie. I have a ton of Lupin specials I still have to watch, but I've seen all the theatrical release movies. We're getting off track. Well, you can hear me talk.
I mean, that's okay. I mean, it's what you're doing after this stream.
Yeah, and
you should.
he started off. I was looking for an anime version of James Bond, and I kind of ran into Lupin, and he's almost like the anti-James Bond because even though he's supposed to be this worldwide criminal and all the authorities are after him, he's actually a good guy.
So he's kind of like a Moriarty type of thing.
Not like a more. I'm trying to think. More like a Green Hornet sort of thing, maybe, if that might make more sense. Like
Sure.
everyone thinks he's the villain, but he's really not. He actually helps people. If he steals, he's usually stealing from people that were bad to begin with. Okay,
Gotcha.
So it's not like I don't know. Anyway. It's a lot of good fun.
Like Dexter, he's a murderer who kills murderers.
Well, yes, but he's not a psychopath. That's
okay.
the thing. Anyway. That's
Now,
more
what
like
is a
James Bond.
psychopath?
He's an
Isn't that
assassin.
just a matter of perspective?
I don't. Well, the point is that that's more like James Bond. Like some people made a point that the Japanese, they always saw James Bond as basically an assassin character, like not necessarily a good guy. And it's funny because the guy that did the James Bond manga over there in Japan actually went on later to create his own character called Gogo 13, which was all about an assassin who was just completely evil. Like. No, I mean he follows rules. In fact, we're going by D&D rules. I would call him lawful evil because he still operates by rules of how he assassinates evil. But he has no, because he operates within rules. But he's still a bad guy. In fact, he's so bad that eventually in the comics he almost becomes like an outside character, and it's more about people reacting to him, and like he's like a force of nature at some point. But it's anyway.
That kind of sounds like Kaiser Sose at this.
Kind of, yeah. No, seriously, yeah. That's a good comparison, actually. Yeah. He does become like that, and they did a great anime series based on Go-Go 13, which is it's very dark. They could redo it as like a gritty like HBO or Showtime series where it's just
Auditor Dress says you guys do good stuff. I'm catching up on both your channels. YouTube algorithms is weird. yeah, it kind of is. It's weird how sometimes what I do is I'll see what's being suggested to me, and I'll go, okay, I'll watch that later, watch that later. Builds up kind of a what do you call it, like a view list, and then I'll just start my watch laters, and I'll just watch them all through. Sometimes I'll see stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's from like 6 months ago. This isn't new, but it's just how YouTube works sometimes.
I don't know how the Google I noticed on job applications I was looking at, they were like full understanding of the Google algorithm. I don't think anyone except for maybe people that work at Google understand.
I don't
Google
think
algorithm,
even people that work there know. I mean, yeah.
I don't know because I don't know how some of my videos they skyrocket, others languish forever. It's just weird. Anyway,
so are we going to talk about actual news?
Well, I thought we were going to try talking about the name change first. Maybe this will be an ongoing thing. For the next
yeah,
couple
let's
weeks.
bring that up. So
I'm going to throw out a title for the.
Well,
stream,
wait, let's kind of explain what we're doing here.
You do
why.
that then. Okay.
So we've called this show, I guess you call it a show, Study Hall, right? We were kind of honoring Professor Geek's office hours, but Professor Geek kind of changed his format a little bit, and I think maybe Study Hall has outlived its usefulness. Maybe it's time to change to something that's a little bit more branded for Aged Boomer. Big Al was the one who originally suggested this, and you know how he is with alliteration, so he was thinking something like Grumpy Geeks or something like that. But does anyone have a suggestion what might be a good name for this show every week?
Okay, you said Grumpy Geeks. I thought you said Geek Grumps because I don't want Geek Grumps that sounds so much like Gaming Grumps. Of course, then I was thinking that could work in our favor. It sounds similar to another YouTuber, but
I have no opinion either way.
Grumpy Geeks, that's not bad. Also, Grouchy Geeks, maybe that's another one.
Geeks.
Hollywood Holocaust. I'm kidding.
Hopefully, that's just a temporary thing. Let's hope that's
okay. You're right. Grouchy Geeks, maybe. Nagging Nerds.
Nagging. I don't know about nagging. I know.
Diffuse Storks. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. But while we're thinking of that, I'm gonna have to sing a song to somebody in the stream tonight. Okay. I don't want to do it, but maybe you'll want to do it too because it's Leia plus size birthday.
Well, it was on the 15th. I think it was the 15th.
Well, it's not the 15th now.
But I said, belated birthday because I missed it. I had to apologize to her for it.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
But you're right. Let's wish her a happy birthday.
Okay. All right.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Leia.
Plus size. Okay, we'll throw that in there. Happy birthday to you.
Glad you're here.
Yes. Oh, we have some suggestions. But
nerdy news.
Nerdy news, possibly that might be something to talk about. That is so.
Harris suggests grumpy old geeks. That's not a bad one.
That's not one. Angry boomers.
Angry boomers. Okay.
Technically, though, neither you or I are boomers. I've tried to explain.
You're the one who named yourself Aged Boomer. Don't blame me for that.
No, boomer is a derisive term used by the younglings out there, younglings. Okay, for anyone that is kind of out of step. So you could be a millennial boomer. You could be a Gen X boomer, which I would consider myself a young Gen Xer. Maybe you're higher up on the Gen Xer age range. I don't know, Troy. Maybe a little bit.
I don't know. What is it? I just turned 50 years old. So what?
You're like 7 years older than me. So yeah, that's about it. Okay.
But, what was the? Now, see, Schooner Tuna suggested Boomer and Troy. I'd really rather it be something where if I drop out, some other co-host jumps in, it'll still work. I don't want.
Right. when you take your trip to Tahiti for a couple months, right?
I've heard it's a magical place.
Oh, let's not bring up okay.
Well, that's
We
later
got some
on.
ideas. Boomer and Troy. I'm thinking though, I don't know. The Siege of Troy. You could call your own stream one day Siege of Troy, right? No, I don't. Just never mind. I don't know.
Okay. Now I got to start thinking about that.
The Boomer couple. Let's not go there. Okay, Boomer business.
Take care of. Ooh.
I don't know about Boomer. Two and a half boomers. I don't know. We'd have to get a dog on here or something. Okay, I don't know. You have a dog, Troy?
I don't.
Okay.
I should get one. We're working from home. The whole reason that we didn't have a dog was because we were out of the house for 8 hours a day every day, and now we're home, so we totally could have a dog.
Age of the Boomer. Oh man, this is making me sad. Okay, well, these are some good suggestions.
We don't have to decide tonight.
We're not going to decide this week. Probably sometime the next couple weeks or so.
And you know what? If you guys think of any others, or if you're listening to this, in the future, go ahead and drop it in the comments later. That's fine too.
Boomer Network News. Yeah, go ahead and drop it in the comments.
Boomer will pick like his 3 favorite or whatever, and then do a vote in the community tab or something.
We can do a vote in the community tag.
That's if he can figure out how to do that. He is a boomer after all.
I know how to do it on Twitter, but of course I'm not liking Twitter too much these days. But anyways, let's talk about the news. We're already 17 minutes in the show. We haven't done one news story. Okay.
We spent the first quarter of the hour of the show, in the intro. This is
wasting time. Except for the happy birthday.
It's never a waste of time. We're having fun. Aren't we having fun, people? Tell Boomer we're having fun.
We're all having fun, but we have not fun stuff.
We have business to get to. Okay, let's talk about the streaming wars. The Hollywood Apocalypse update.
Yes, Streaming Wars Hollywood update. It just says Hollywood update, not Apocalypse on here. But anyway, streaming platforms like HBO Max and Disney Plus struggle with churn. That was a Bloomberg article, and I think both you and I clicked on it. We saw it, and then they started charging us for it. So yeah, I ended up going. So I decided what I would do instead was to put a definition of what churn is.
Sure.
Some of you may be unfamiliar, and I'm just going to read it off to you. Okay. Definition: churn is a measurement of the percentage of accounts that cancel or choose not to renew their subscriptions. A high churn rate can negatively impact monthly recurring revenue, MRR, and can also indicate dissatisfaction with a product or service.
Yeah. Let me break that down for you, people. This is not anything shocking to all of us who have been, involved in this for the past however many years, right? You get a subscription to Disney Plus because you want to watch The Mandalorian. You watch every single episode of The Mandalorian. You look to see what else there is that you want to watch. Oh, nothing? Okay, cancel. That's the way it works. That's churn.
So it's like when you want to, watch the last season of Game of Thrones and then you cancel your HBO subscription right after, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And this was when Disney Plus was starting. I said to Nanette, I'm like, I'm not interested in any of these streaming services, but Disney, if we have all of the Disney, archives and all the Disney shows and the Disney Channel and all their new movies, plus all the Lucasfilm things and all of the Marvel films, maybe it's worth subscribing to. And then Disney Plus starts and you find out, no, it's not their entire catalog. It's just certain ones. And turned out that we didn't really give a flying fig about anything coming out of Lucasfilm. We already had what we liked. Marvel, meh,
But you get to watch Splash with Daryl Hannah's butt removed.
Yeah. Well, you know what I say about, relying on streaming services and how they're going to edit stuff, or even Lilo and Stitch, where she doesn't crawl into the washing machine anymore. Now it's a table with a pizza box in front of it.
I mean, to check my DVD of that to see if that's.
It's just ridiculous stuff. People really own, physical media whenever you can, but. Disney, who has and now Disney technically owns all of 20th Century Fox. That doesn't mean they're dropping it all on Disney Plus. And then there's still talk about whether or not, they're going to drop stuff on Hulu or whether Hulu's going to be combined with them, blah, 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 blah. The point is exactly what I've been saying for months and months, if not years. we only have so much money. We can only subscribe to so many things. If you want to be the channel, the streaming service that people are going to subscribe to, you need to have as much as possible. Disney has had that opportunity and not gone in on it completely. Netflix has been the closest. Of course, they have stuff being taken away from them by the companies that want to start their own streaming services. But do you want to subscribe to CBS All Extortion so that you can see all of the Big Bang Theory and NCIS and STD?
Well, they have Magnum PI on there, the old Magnum PI and the new one. Of course, you can.
If you were a real fan, you'd already own it on DVD.
You'd own the 4K Blu-ray of Tom
right?
Selleck's mustache. Yes. Okay. Anyway, but yeah.
As a side note, Netter and I just ordered the Blu-ray collection of Buck Rogers in the 25th century.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Whatever century he's in. Yeah, Buck Rogers. I'm fired up about that because the Blu-ray comes with the original theatrical release and the what do you call it? The televised version that is horribly edited, except it adds a scene at the end that connects it to the series.
You know, they don't have those don't play in a regular DVD player. You know, you have to have a Blu-ray player.
I have a Blu-ray drive. Dude.
I'm kidding.
The boomer's telling me this, right? Actually, the guy that needed me to explain StreamYard to him is telling me that I need a Blu-ray player.
I caught on pretty fast. I still have to like do things like actually make a description in the YouTube. We're getting off track. Anyway, Churn.
No, you're branding yourself here. You're pointing out how much of a boomer you are.
Okay, yes, okay. But anyway, churn is the measure of how many customers stop using a product. That can be measured based on actual usage or a failure to renew when the product is sold using a subscription model. I wonder if we needed this in-depth a definition for what churn is. But basically, it's like
we all knew before they had a word for it. We said this was what was going to happen, right? So you also have the LA Times talking about this with an article saying streaming service cancellation is a problem for Hollywood, and we're all going, "No, you think?" You know.
Well, this has always been the case, though. You could cancel Netflix anytime, right? I mean, you watch your Stranger Things season. Okay, I'm done. I'll come subscribe in another year for a month to watch the season.
I think that what really is important here is the third article. Franchises are what stop churn from streaming services, right? That one is from, what is that link? What is that? TVRev.com.
Yeah. TV. I'll put it in this and put it in the chat. Okay.
I mean, what gets me is, you know, why, and this is why people kind of struggle a little bit, right? When Cobra Kai is released on Netflix, they drop the whole thing at once. If you want to, you can subscribe to Netflix, watch all of Cobra Kai in a weekend, and then cancel. Whereas WandaVision, which we'll be talking a little bit about later, is coming out one episode a week. Well, the first 2 episodes came out, you know, simultaneously, but every week, and you got to wait. And it's like, oh, I can't wait for the next episode. Can't wait for the next episode. Well, if you're subscribing, you have to wait. You're going to have to stay subscribed until the season is over. If you're making good content, the people will stay. If you're not, the people leave. If you don't have a good, you know, library of stuff to watch, people are going to leave. I'm sorry. It comes down to content. It comes down to value for your dollar. And if you're not providing it, people are going to leave. That's just what happens.
Let me read a quote from the article. At current, Hulu's draw is the back catalog of content with a handful of original shows that pop up just enough to make you feel like the spend's worthwhile. Netflix has caught lightning in a bottle numerous times with series like Rush, House of Cards, Master of None, Russian Doll, The Queen's Gambit, and a slew of other interesting original series over the years. And notice how, too, we had the announcement last week. We had Netflix releasing a movie a week. Netflix just has a ton of original content on their channel. So you'll think, oh, I just want to cancel it. Oh, but maybe this show will be good. Oh, well, there is that movie coming out in a couple weeks. Well, and maybe that's part of what keeps the people on Netflix. I don't know.
I'm not sure if we actually had a link or an article about that, but I did want to mention something about that whole Netflix with something a week.
Yeah, we did it last week. Remember?
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
The question is it any good, or is it just scattershot? See what sticks. A bunch of crap, just to make it, quantity over quality.
Well, that's probably what it is, but there's probably enough good stuff in there that you'll be like, it's like when you used to watch different strokes and you'd wait for the 1 or 2 good episodes a season, and then you'd go through all the.
Well, I'll tell you what, any episode that had Aaron Gray in it was going to be a good episode. I'm just saying.
Aaron Gray? You're thinking of Silver Spoons.
Why? What did you say?
I said different strokes. That was on Dana Plato and
oh yeah, well, okay, then Dana Plato. Either way,
Gary Coleman and just the same.
Well,
same
if you
period.
want to see Dana Plato, there's another movie for you.
Anyway, let's move on. I watched Black Scorpion recently, so anyway, okay. Yeah, and they did make a point though in the article, like our HBO Max has existing intellectual property, but as we're about to hit 2 years since the Game of Thrones series finale, there's a lingering question about what drives consistent tune in there and stops churn. Friends can't be it, given the amount of shows that still appear in syndication on linear TV. So you can just watch Friends on your...
And that's not going to end either, because they make too much money in licensing on those things. So it's not like Friends is ever going to become exclusive to whatever network streaming service, But Auditor Dredd brings up a point that I do want to speak to. He says, am I misunderstanding? But when you cancel with Netflix, you still have... You're right. You subscribe for a month. So I may have misspoke when I said you watch something in a weekend and then cancel. You're paying for a month no matter what. So you're going to sit on it for a month. You're going to consume everything that you want to consume in a month, but then you're done until 6 months to a year later when they put something else out. Now, that brings us to our next point about this. My prediction, what you're going to start seeing is you want to subscribe to Disney Plus because you love The Mandalorian, where they're going to lock you in for a year. Or 3 years at this price, at a lower price, or however many years at an even lower price. But then you're locked into it. That's what's going to happen.
Like you could do the monthly, you could do the yearly, that sort of thing. It's cheaper if you do the yearly.
They're going to do away with monthly because technically monthly is what you already have.
You think they're going to get rid of monthly at some point?
Yep.
And it's going to be you buy it for a full year, and it's sort of like cable channels in a way, right? Or even like I don't know about cable channels or cable packages.
Which, to be honest with you, all that's going to do is push people to the high seas. Okay, because let's face it, that's already where they're at. The high seas is already how you're consuming the onesie and twosies because there's not enough on the channel to make it worth subscribing to, right? Mm-hmm. I don't give a flying fig about anything that's on Disney except The Mandalorian. I ain't subscribing for a month to watch The Mandalorian, especially since once you subscribe, you don't own it. You can watch it as many times as you want, as long as you subscribe. You don't physically own that thing. Remember what I say about own physical media, people.
They haven't even done a DVD release for The Mandalorian yet, and usually at some point, like with Netflix, they wait. But usually when the new season of Stranger Things premieres, that's when the previous season will come out.
When I say own physical media, I'm not necessarily go out and buy commercial physical media. I am saying have physical media that you own offline somewhere. I don't care how you obtain it. I am not losing money on the deal. Well, but if they release it, by all means, go out and buy it and show your support for it. The problem is The Mandalorian has not been released. So what is your option if you want to own physical media for that? You have no other choice. If you want to own the original Star Wars, the way it was originally released in theaters, there is no way for you to go out and buy that from Disney. You have to get the version that was put out by the fans, the fan edit.
It will not come out.
I have, by the way, if anyone's really interested, go ahead, reach out to me offline.
We will never see the original release of the theatrical versions on Blu-ray and anything like that until I believe George Lucas passes away. I don't think they're going to do it while he was alive because they said it was sort of like a handshake deal. Because I was thinking when they bought 20th Century,
because they've been so honoring their handshake deals.
nothing they do makes sense to me. Yes, but that's what I had read. Okay, that was like a thing because you know what it is because it's something that'll please Lucas but still get us upset. Okay, because some of us want to watch the versions we grew up with, but we can't get our hands on them. And another thing is too, I thought when they bought 20th Century Fox, I had read somewhere that 20th Century Fox owned home video rights to the theatrical release of the original Star Wars, and they thought that might have been the reason why Lucas had done the special editions to begin with. I don't know if any of this is true. Okay, you know, but that was a theory going around.
I actually this is new to me. I actually didn't know any of this, so I can't.
I'd read it somewhere. This may not be true, but that was.
But interesting speculation, you know.
But my point is, when somebody brought that up on some forum, I thought, oh, that's the reason why we've never gotten a proper release. And then Disney buys 20th Century Fox, and I figure, okay, well, that's cleared up. At least now they get them released. But no, it doesn't happen. In fact, I figured, you know, knowing Disney, they would just want to release it again. You know, get you to buy the special editions and the big box sets. Oh, well, we also have the theatrical editions a year later. And, you know, they know the fans will buy it again. Okay. But
Auditor Dread did ask, when the 4 DVDs were released, didn't they release a version of the originals? Did they?
They did. This is what they did. I had those.
Tell me.
These were not the original DVD releases that Lucas put out. These are the second releases of them that came out later. They had a bonus disc on them that did have the theatrical cuts on the bonus disc. Lucas said this is a bonus feature. Do not get too excited. These are non-anamorphic widescreen versions.
Yeah.
That means good luck trying to play them on a high-definition TV and not having them look like crap, okay? Yeah. Maybe if you have a projector in your house or an old-fashioned TV to look.
My understanding,
they're basically transfers of the Laserdisc versions that came out.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I didn't know for sure, but I suspected they were just transfers of the Laserdisc, which interestingly I already had. I owned the Laserdiscs, and I had a buddy transfer them to DVD for me, and I had those for the longest time until the fans went out and did, you know, the cleaned up version, the high definition Blu-ray version of the original theatrical releases,
which is what people want. And to be fair, those original prints weren't bad, but that you can't. I'm sorry, you have a widescreen TV, you can't play them.
Look, I'm saying this on a live stream, right? So Disney can come at me for owning, you know, this technically bootleg Blu-ray, but for crying out loud, Disney, if you release them, I will pay for them. You will get my money. I'm telling you what I want, but if you don't put it out, I will make it for myself.
Yeah. Well, that's what people do. I mean, the same thing with a lot of video games. They're not released for licensing agreements. So
I don't have many positive things to say about Warner Brothers, but the one thing I will say is that when a bunch of fans got together and put together a bootleg, you know, internet available version of the Donner cut of Superman, they put it out and they said, when Warner Brothers sent them a cease and desist, they said, look, we're not trying to steal anything from you. We're trying to get across from you that there is interest in this. If you put it out, we will buy it. And what did Warner Brothers do? They got put out the Donner cut.
They got Richard Donner back and said, will you supervise a Donner cut of Superman 2? Yeah.
And this is why, as much as, you know, I understand and agree with Professor Geek's, you know, take on the Snyder cut, I still see that as a win for the fans. The fans say they want it. Warner Brothers gives it to them.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid we condemn a company for giving the fans what they want, even if it's not what I want as a fan.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I give them points to that. Warner Brothers I didn't have a problem with until recent years. I forgot what they did, something that got me mad, and I don't know why I'm blanking on it.
Well, there's a lot of things they've done that made
probably,
me mad.
but you know, I mean, like I said, my favorite movie of the last decade was Blade Runner 2049. I know some people hate that movie, but I loved it, and they put that out, and I was a doubter too before that came out. I was like, this can be crap.
I would have gone and purchased that movie myself if I hadn't already gotten it as a gift for Christmas or my birthday.
I got the Blu-ray of it. I pre-ordered it from Walmart, and I got a little little metal card, one of the this card to put together, and I haven't done it yet because it's weird. It's
I
like
am a
little strips.
huge Blade Runners fan. I could do a whole stream just talking about Blade Runner.
You need to. I mentioned this to Jay Asher Finney the other night. You need to. They're doing a remaster of it, of the Blade Runner PC game from years ago. Where they got, you know what I'm talking about? It'll probably come to Steam. I think it's going to come to Steam and consoles as well. And they're doing a HD remastering of it, but they're actually going to make sure that it still looks like the old game. They don't want to try and make it too different, but they're trying to make it look good for like modern settings. Pick it up. It's definitely the good voice casting. In fact, when the stream is over, I'll send you a link to a very cool video review of it. But
sure.
All right, but yeah, churn is a problem.
But we called it a long time ago. We said this was going to happen. I predicted last year that these streaming services were going to start moving to a subscription service where it would be a year or 3-year packages or something like that. I'm going to double down on that and reiterate that. You watch for it. That's going to be coming probably this year.
Oh, they said Apple TV Plus simply doesn't have enough content. I keep thinking Apple TV Plus, they have the Peanut specials. I don't know. They have an M. Night Shyamalan TV series, which I haven't seen, but that's all.
Boomer, I took your advice and I added all of the Peanuts movies that were available on Netflix to my DVD. You know, they mailed to me so that I have all of those Peanuts movies. There's a lot more than I realized. I have a lot of watching to do.
There's a lot. I have Peanut specials I still have to watch. My main comment though is I think with HBO Max, so I'm starting to think. I think their real problem is creating anything sustainable. I mean, I'm thinking about Game of Thrones. If it ended on a high note, like if people had liked the series finale, they could have done spin-off series. They were talking about doing that. They were talking about doing a prequel series. All that's out the window, but they could have made those series HBO Max exclusives. I'm sorry, really, Game of Thrones Mania a couple of years ago, people would have bought HBO Max to watch this series. Okay?
That really hurts my heart. And I got to say, after True Blood, I saw the exact same thing happen with Game of Thrones. And I'm like, you can do something really good and you start out great. And then you just get tired of it. You wrap it up. You turn it to crap,
Oh, back to Trump. Apple TV has Greyhound. I did hear about that. That was a Tom Hanks movie. That I believe it's a World War II movie. I think it's a battleship or is it a submarine? I don't know. I forget. But it's supposed to be really good though. But yeah, the trailer looked good when I saw it, and that was before I found out it was going to be Apple TV Plus because, of course, movies can't be released in theaters anymore. Which brings us to our next topic.
No Time to Die looks set to move again as Hollywood prepares for another slew of release date delays. Now, why don't you go ahead and speak from the news article, and I'll give my take on it.
Yeah, okay. Let me just go ahead and post it in here. We have more. This isn't in my notes, but I think they said October 2021 is what I've read online. Okay, so let's see. What do I got here? No Time to Die. It was almost a year ago that MGM shocked everyone by pushing No Time to Die from April to November. Of course, the next installment of the James Bond franchise failed to meet that release date as well and is currently scheduled for April 2nd. However, the Hollywood Reporter reveals that not even that date will hold, according to the trade sources. Okay, so is this not official yet? Because I thought it was, but okay. I've heard October. That's what I heard. There's speculation that the movie will be pushed back as far as October. Okay, it isn't here. November or December, with one studio executive saying, I think everything substantive between now and Top Gun Maverick in early July will move. It's a mess. Okay. And another quote is, lest anyone thought that the transition from 2020 into 2021 would magically fix the issues that perplexed the industry for the past almost 12 months. The reality is that many of the very same market forces are still in play and will continue to inform the strategic decisions of studios and creatives alike, says ComScore's Paul Durgarabidian. Okay, hope I didn't butcher his name. I probably did. Okay, that said, there is hope for a recovery for the theatrical movie biz on the horizon, but of course, that future is in constant flux.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ever going to see these movies.
I have to make an aside technical issue. If anyone runs into an issue with the stream where you get a notification that says the some YouTube error message, refresh your screen and everything will be fine. I was having that problem on Viva Fry's stream. I'm actually having it right now on this stream too.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. But basically, my own comments are James Bond is like a terminally ill patient at this point. I don't want him to die, but I also don't want to see him suffer. We're talking about an October release, but no time.
You can focus on the James Bond aspect of it. I think that's kind of a false leader, because I think they also mentioned, was it Black Widow, and there was
everything.
Basically everything. Who was it? AT&T or somebody said they were releasing everything on streaming, but everybody else. Look, let me back up. Sorry, guys. I got to get political because, we have to deal with reality. All of these things are interrelated. And Hollywood waited to see what happened with the election. Now that we have a new administration, everything changes. And they have decided, hey, we don't have to put everything out on our streaming services and take a loss. We can hold on to them and we can get a bailout. Watch for it. They're waiting for bailouts and they're going to get it.
Oh, no.
You heard it here, folks. First here from the Troyster.
I
am never going to say Troyster again. I'm sorry.
The Troyster.
No.
Troyster and Boomer. We got it. That's the title of this.
Damn it.
I'm kidding. We'll lose half the viewers. Okay. Anyway. Okay. No, but I'm telling you, I'm a bail. Oh no. Okay, for starters, the studios are not what needs the bailout. It's the theater chains that can't show the movies. Okay, because they've been forced to shut down. Okay,
well, they'll get their own separate bailout. Maybe, I don't know.
This is insane. We're not.
But who? You got to understand who's in charge. It's not the voting public. Clearly, we know that from the last election.
That'd be funny. So every time a movie bombs, they can just we need a bailout. It's market forces. It's not that we made a bad movie that nobody wanted to see.
Stimulus, blah 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 blah. That's the administration that's in charge. I'm not even going to say that was voted in because whatever. But that's what's going to happen. You're going to see all of these Hollywood studios get bailed out. They're going to be able to coast for a little while longer. And then whenever the administration decides, okay, we'll open everything up again, everything's hunky-dory because now we have somebody else in the White House. And that changes COVID. Everything is wonderful now.
Well, I'm thinking about James Bond, though. Will James Bond get a bailout since it's a British production? And basically, they'd have to go to, I guess, Boris Johnson to get a bailout, right?
I have no idea about that. But the local distributors will.
Oh man, no. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm hoping you're wrong that things are not. We'll see though, because I can't predict the future.
I understand, but hope is not a strategy. We have to deal with reality.
For me, I'm just gonna ride out the next. I'm gonna watch Space 1999 over and over again. I'll be good. Okay. All right. Oh man, entertainment. I used to love Hollywood. Going to the movies was a big deal. Used to look forward. Used to get excited, anticipate new movies coming out, and now it's and now they're not even coming out. The ones, and I'm not even that excited because even with James Bond, I'm really hoping that all my fears about this movie are proven wrong. But everything I've seen from those trailers and everything else, I'm just, especially from the Trouble production too. But we'll see.
That's all the more reason for them to hold off, right? Because they know nobody is interested. They know it's going to bomb. So the longer they hold off and hopefully, cross their fingers, maybe get a bailout, maybe get some sympathy from somebody. Who knows? But the bigger problem is if you're gonna hold on to something longer and longer and longer, then maybe make sure that you take advantage of that to make it a better product. I don't, that's one of the things everyone's saying about Wonder Woman 1984. You sat on it for so long, and this is the crap you put out. It's poorly edited. It makes absolutely zero sense. You know, the special effects look terrible. The CG looks terrible. You had so much time to fix all that stuff. It's not like you rushed it into theaters or something, or you rushed it out onto your streaming service.
Oh, this is interesting. Back to the drawing board. British, Canadian, Australian media is already subsidized. Yeah. What?
There you go.
Now, I will say this, though. I'm just saying, though, I don't know if they would be, are they subsidizing, though, $100 million, $200 million productions, though? That's my curious about that. I mean, are these smaller productions they're subsidizing?
Yeah, I don't know enough about their business model.
I don't.
All I know is that we're stupid enough to give them a bailout, so why wouldn't they?
Because, okay, but...
Since, as he points out, they already start out subsidized.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, too, if they get less money per production, and it has to be, like, even the BBC, they can stretch money, okay? Right? Usually? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
all I know is in for a pence, in for a pound. You know, once you go down that road, your companies are just gonna sit back and hold out their hand for the bailout.
Okay. Okay. Why does America need subsidized media? There's already enough propaganda in our media. Yeah, well, that's true. They might as well be subsidized for the amount of stuff is. But yeah, okay. So there's that. Should we move on?
Let's go for it.
Oh, well, this kind of ties into. Okay, this is we're going with the Jason Momoa has been in the news. Okay, at least as I'm bounding in the comics, and I think the court.
Yeah, everybody's favorite JLA or Aquaman.
Justice League of America. Well, it was one of the more successful DC cinematic movies because it did very well in China.
Of course it was, just like Wonder Woman.
Well, I don't know about the latest.
How did they follow that one up?
Well, we'll see. Okay, but after endorsing violent crime, Aquaman star Jason Momoa calls for Donald Trump supporters to unfollow him. Can I read from this a little? My quotes from the article. Okay,
it's your channel. You don't have to.
Momoa is calling for supporters of Donald Trump to unfollow him. He shared a video of Michael Rappaport, who previously attacked the Covington Catholic students in a profanity-laced rant back in January 2019. Momoa went on Instagram. Let's make this easy. Bah! Mahalo, Michael Rappaport. Please unfollow me. Let's make it easy. I am completely against Trump. If you like this monster, we have nothing in common. Please unfollow me. Now, aloha, Jay. Bah! The Hollywood celebrity added. In the accompanying post, he shared a video of Rappaport mocking President Donald Trump after the Democrat-controlled House of Representatives impeached him. Rappaport says, "Hey, you F, oh, you F, they impeach you not once but twice, 2 effing times, you a-hole. Oh, golly, what an effing pick me up, you F. They got you again." He continues, "And for all you people out there, oh, censorship, it can happen to you. It won't happen to you if you aren't the effing ass." Okay. Well, anyway.
As long as it's a political, you've kind of opened the door to the politics. Let's start with the fact that, yeah, they spent 4 years impeaching, and it wasn't just twice. Anyone who's saying he was impeached twice is a dumbass who hasn't been paying attention. He's been impeached more than twice. None of them have stuck. That's the problem. They haven't been able to prove their cases. So, congratulations. You impeached him. All impeachment means is you accused him of something. You weren't able to make anything stick. I mean, Clinton was impeached. What did that mean? It meant nothing. All it meant was he lost his license to practice law after he left the White House. Woo-hoo!
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way,
like he was going to anyway. I mean, you know. Yeah. But seriously, and now talk about the second impeachment. Talk about a charge without merit. I mean, what is impeachment? You want to remove him from office. He's out of office already. What are you going to gain by doing that?
I guess it's so he'll never run again. I think that's what the idea is.
But they can't keep him from running. That's another case that's already been taken care of with McCain and Obama.
Nothing this past week or this year has made any sense, or even the last couple of years has made any sense. But anyway,
but it's important that our listeners, if they don't know this, they need to be educated, because these dumbasses like Momoa don't understand this, and you can't teach these these brain dead Hollywood elites.
Yes. Well, anyway, I have a comment on this whole thing. One thing I've noticed about this pandemic is that we're not getting movies, but the movie stars are doubling down on the political ranting. Jason Momoa is one of the worst actors in Hollywood, in my opinion. He essentially plays himself on screen. I feel bad about Michael Rappaport going off the deep end. I actually liked him in some movies, like the indie superhero movie Special. But
I know how hypocritical this is, because I'm so foul-mouthed. But if you are going to tweet out, or you're going to make statements with all those, expletives, it kind of tells you, yeah, you know what? You don't really need to listen to me, because I don't know what I'm talking about. All I can do is swear. Hopefully, I'm making up for it by making some sense. He makes absolutely zero sense.
Well, no, because he's like first you have Momoa going bye, and then you have the Michael Rappaport saying F F F F F.
Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. I mean, they don't know what they're talking about to begin with, and then all they're doing is cursing. Anyone with any intelligence that's listening to him tunes out and says, "Okay, this is not news. This is an idiot." Spewing idiocy, because idiot. But unfortunately, they have enough. Oh, yeah, because I like him, and he's good looking, and he's the best, and Snyderverse, yay.
Anyway, I don't know.
And Orange Man bad. I know that, because all the news says it.
Yeah. But anyway, okay, but is this gonna maybe alter how you spend your money in the future on Jason Momoa movies?
Nope. Wasn't spending any money on him before, and I can't spend any less.
Okay. Anyways, but I've just noticed this, because I keep thinking back to the old days, how, let's be honest, celebrities have doing these political rantings for years. That I think they've been worse this year, but in the past, I think sometimes we look the other way because they were putting out good product that we wanted to watch, but they're not currently doing that.
Well, in the past, I would argue that in the past, the ones that got really political really hurt their careers doing it. I mean, there's two that stand out to me: Jane Fonda and Marlon Brando.
Oh, yeah.
And as soon as they got super political, people tuned out, and they rode their laurels. That's it. They never got good roles after that. That's just how it is.
Jason is fake Thor, says Melissa Harris. Yeah. I never even thought about that. Is he supposed to be like the DC Universe's Thor? Is that how the executives were treating that?
Kinda.
Okay.
I mean,
interesting.
If you were trying to play, I mean, if these writers were worth their weight in salt, they would know that Aquaman, Arthur Curry, is meant to be an analog of King Arthur, just like Green Arrow is meant to be an analog of Robin Hood.
Yeah. Well, I don't think these people know anything about King Arthur, especially considering that last King Arthur movie that got made. Anyway,
okay, good point taken there. Yeah,
we've had just a lot of bad, expensive blockbusters get released. I didn't even see that new that new Robin Hood they made, which I heard was dreadful.
Yeah, I know nothing about that. Brian Gilmore brings up a great point too, referring to my once they get political thing. Talking about the Dixie Chicks. Now, the Dixie Chicks is an example of not understanding your audience. If you are a country star, you're a country band, and that's who your audience is. Those are predominantly Protestant Christian conservatives. you go against that base, you're done. When was the last time anyone heard about the Dixie Chicks?
I don't know, but
Basically, it's hard to get political.
I mean, let's be honest with you. Depending on whose vote count you're counting, regardless, it was a very close election we had, and that's what 70+ million voters. You're basically taking a dump on right there and there.
Yeah. Well, and that gets back into the whole: do you want to make money or do you want to make a political statement? And there's a strange dichotomy there. We've talked about that before.
Or maybe not go on social media when you're high too, like it apparently does. I'm sorry.
Here I am streaming drunk, so I mean,
I didn't say inebriated. I said high because I said inebriated. You bring it up, but actually, what I did want to make a point about though, I feel bad though because like I said, I did like Rappaport in Special, which was a very fun. I wouldn't pay money for it, but if you ever want to catch, well, you probably don't even watch anything with a minute now because of his insanity.
I have to admit, I don't even know who this Rappaport guy is you've been talking about all this time.
Okay, did you ever see The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
Where he was fighting the clones?
No.
Okay, what's not that good a movie? Okay, did you ever see Boston Public, the television series?
No.
Because I don't know what else
he's been in. Captain Kirk, right?
No, that was Boston Legal. Same creator though. So, and I think they even did a crossover.
What is it? He only do shows that are based in Boston.
That's what happened with David E. Kelly after a while. He just started. Well, you know what? Everything's set in Boston anyway. I'm just going to set Boston in front of everything. Okay, and then David E. Kelly disappeared, and then I started watching Bull, and I actually like Bull more than the David E. Kelly shows because
I won't watch that, but that's for a whole different.
It's not because the David E. Kelly series would get kind of melodramatic, or they would be pure comedies. The pure comedies I like better, and Bull is kind of in the middle. So okay. Anyway, what was I talking about here? Yeah, Jason Momoa. I guess I want to say I'm upset, but I don't care about his political opinions because he's not important.
I don't care about any of these celebrities' political opinions. I don't even care about their political opinions if I agree with them. This is not why I consume their products. I consume their products because I like the characters and the stories. If I don't like them, I will not watch them. And I'm less likely if you're a jerk on socialist media and you're condescending to me.
Michael Rappaport was in Deep Blue Sea? Okay.
Didn't see that either, so whatever.
No. Okay. All right. So, okay, there's that. That kind of, okay, we got more DC news.
Half by a shark in Deep Blue Sea. Well,
now I want to watch it.
That's like saying that what's his name? Steven Seagal is the guy that gets blown out of Air Force One in Executive Decision midway through the movie. That's his claim to fame.
They advertise that like he got top billing in that, and then yeah. Okay, but for you Zack Snyder fans,
didn't they?
We did mention this earlier in the stream, but for those of you interested in updates on the Snyder cut of Justice League, apparently it will not be a miniseries, but a 4-hour movie. Except then the article also goes on to say, well, it could still be a 4-hour miniseries, and maybe they'll just give you both options
or whatever.
What?
Then they'd be breaking it into 2 parts, like 2-hour.
No, it would be 4 1-hour episodes. I thought that was what everybody was saying. And now it's going to be a 4-hour movie, and maybe nobody knows. That's the thing. Of course, that's what Zack Snyder is telling everybody. 4-hour movie. Okay.
They better make it really damn good.
No.
If they do not rework all of the CG, if they don't fix the editing, I mean, it's still going to be crap, but I don't know. If it's not really freaking awesome, then they might as well just say goodbye to the Snyderverse. And personally, I hope that's the case, but
the Snyderverse, I've come to a conclusion that it's the only way it's going to die is when Warner Brothers dies, because they won't give up on it. Because the trouble is they have one movie that
they're really tanking themselves.
Because like Wonder Woman does well, and they say, "Oh, great, big hit." Who knew? Who knew people wanted to see a Wonder Woman movie, despite the fact we've been saying it for years. That's okay.
Yeah.
And then it comes out, does well. Then Justice League comes out, and it's a disaster. their heads rolled when that bombed at the box office. Okay, and then we got Aqua Bro, which did actually very good box office, especially in China. I think Shazam did all right. Did we have anything after that?
Nope.
We had the Wonder Woman 84. I think that was the next one. Oh, we had also the Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah, easy to forget
no.
that one. That one did real well, right?
I'm forgetting how many movies are in this universe now. This is not good, but
because they all sucked. Nobody cared about them.
Oh, Matthew Flynn brings up a point from the last thing. I think the BBC is government funded. We'll see how much longer, Matthew. Okay.
Well, yeah, they're losing licensees like hand over fist.
If you need an extended cut to make a movie good, then it was always crap to begin with. We'll see. You know, I have that Studio 54 movie, and apparently they released it in a new cut, and I've been meaning to watch the new cut because they say it's good. But anyway, I got off on a track.
Brian Gilmartin is absolutely right. I say that all the time. You should have done that in the first place. Fire your damn editors.
So you're saying are you saying you can't polish a turd?
I'm saying if the turd doesn't come out polished to begin with, you did it wrong.
Yes. Okay. Well, they're going to do it right.
I'm really messing up that metaphor.
I don't know. We're getting more Jared Leto though.
Woo!
Jared Leto Joker.
Everyone loved him so much.
Okay.
When you think Joker, you think Jared Leto, right?
No, I think I actually think Jack Nicholson, but I also think of even Joaquin Phoenix. But I'm thinking who was the other guy?
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry. Of all the people that have played Joker, even Mark Hamill takes the place above Jared Leto. Jared Leto is not. He is at the bottom of the barrel of people when they think who their Joker is.
Oh, Christopher Nolan had thought about casting Mark Hamill as the Joker. He was a contender. He was seriously considering it. For
really, I didn't know that.
No, he was. They eventually went with I forgot his name again.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. Yes, I know. Okay, yeah. And but he was thinking about using Mark Hamill. Okay. All right. But yeah, okay, and in other DC Universe news, we have television news concerning the Wonderful World of Batwoman. Okay, Batwoman season 2 premiere.
Is everyone excited about hearing about the ratings for Batwoman season 2?
Here, I'll read you from the article. Let me just go ahead and post the link. Okay, yeah,
the new and improved Batwoman.
Oh my goodness! You know what? Stop being negative.
I'm being positive.
All right.
Okay, maybe I'm being sarcastic, but still, I'm saying positive.
Okay.
Things.
All right. So let's see here. Okay. CW's Batwoman season 2 premiere ratings are in, and they are actually worse than Batwoman season 1. I think they did say there was one episode in season 1 that did worse.
Really?
That had worse ratings. Let me read from the article, and you're going to listen, okay? TV series. See, I'm not asking permission now, am I? No, okay.
Remember, you do have the mute button. You can always use
No,
that.
I'm messing. I say that heads up just in case you had something to say before I started reading the quotes.
Oh, I have nothing to say. I'm just being snarky.
All right. I let me read. Okay, so the Batwoman ratings are season 2 premiere ratings are worse than season 1. TV series finale reports that the premiere episode of Batwoman season 2, What Happened to Kate, was only viewed by 663,000 individuals and had a 0.10 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. If you compare the season 2 premiere to the season 1 premiere, viewership dropped by nearly 65%. The season 1 premiere had over 1.86 million people tune in. The season 2 premiere had even lower viewership than the season 1 finale. The season 1 finale closed out with 739,000 people tuning in and a 0.21 ratings in the 18 to 49 demographic. That's a wide age gap. Anyway, okay. That means the show lost over 10% over their viewership from the end of season 1 to the beginning of season 2. The ratings declined by over 52%. The season 2 premiere was the worst rated show in the 18 to 4. Yes, I've heard this already. Why are they repeating themselves? Okay. Oh, yeah, the
Because
worst grade.
I think they've fired all their editors. I've been noticing that in a lot of these articles. They have typos, they have poor grammar. There is no quality control at all.
Okay. Do you watch Batwoman?
No.
Okay. Does anyone in the chat watch Batwoman?
I would
Because
be
I guess
surprised.
I guess the main actress left the show. I don't even know the full story behind
Yeah,
that.
so what happened was that boyish looking girl that played her in the first season who said that the bat costume would be perfect when it fit a woman.
What's made for a woman? I saw the trailer. Yeah.
Now a lot of people are saying, well, she saw the writing on the walls. She saw the ratings going down, down, down. She was getting panned left and right by everybody. So she's like, I'm out. There was also an issue with her getting injured on set. She had a really bad back injury. She was walking around with a cane. Ironic since her character's name is Kate Kane. But, you know, so she tries to blame that. That may be, I don't know. The important point is she left the show. So they decided to recast her. And if you're going to recast her, well, it's got to be another gay character because that was their whole point. Batwoman's gay, so they bring in another gay character, but let's do it one better and make her black. Now, I will I'm inclined to be very negative about all this. I will say that the girl that they brought in to play this character, have nothing against her. I liked her a great deal when she played another gay character on a show called God Friended Me. I liked her a lot. I was having no issue with her playing a gay character because they did it very well. That's if you're going to have, representation, that was the way to do it. I loved that show. She brings, from everything I've seen of her playing this role, and that's only from, clips here and there, looks like she's putting in every effort that you would expect of an actress. She's taking it seriously. She's doing the best with what she's given to work with. Now, all that being said, that's the only good thing I can say about it because she has nothing to work with. The story makes not a damn bit of sense. Not that it did first season either. It's everything I've heard about it. It's just a mess.
The actor, her name is Javicia Leslie.
Yeah, the only other thing I've seen her in was God Friended Me.
God Friended Me. Okay.
Great show. If you guys get a chance to watch it, check it out.
I'll say this. I hate to say this. I've noticed too, sometimes you get better actors on these television network shows than you do in the movies lately. I've been noticing this.
Yeah. And that's the unfortunate thing because every now and again, you'll get a talented actor trying their level best. I mean, I love Amy Adams. She was poorly miscast as Lois Lane, but I am not going to fault her attempt to play the role. No.
Well, who did I want for Lois Lane? Never mind. I can't remember.
I wanted Erica Durance, but that's just me.
She's my favorite Lois Lane, actually. Erica Durance.
I can't do that. I mean, that would be like trying to choose your favorite, of your children, because I love Noelle Neal. She has a special place in my heart, right, especially after having met her. Margot Kidder, same thing, especially after having met her personally. Again, both are gone. That's really tough. Terry Hatcher. Terry Hatcher. So yeah, I up until this point, everyone who's played Erica Durance, everyone that's played Lois Lane, I've liked. Doesn't necessarily mean I always like the way that she's been written and characterized, and that was definitely the case in the Snyderverse. Anyway, getting away from that because Batwoman is not Snyderverse at all. Thankfully, it's still Warner Brothers though, and it's just a hot mess. And this is not a big shocker. I didn't think we'd spend a great deal of time on it. We predicted it was going to suck. It sucked. The fans don't care. It doesn't have a fan base at all. And again, the only people supporting it and holding it up are the people that want to see the representation. And they're not the ones out there buying comic books, buying toys, doing cosplay. So
I actually stopped with the CW series because I was a big fan of Smallville. I mean, Smallville, let's be honest with you, it could be a cheesy show at times, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But that was part of its charm, and I would tune in every week because at its core, however ridiculous it could be sometimes, it was still Superman, okay?
Yeah.
All right. I used to joke that Lex Luthor gets beat up once an episode by somebody, okay? That's why he ends up becoming evil in the end, because he's just tired of taking it all the time. But yeah, and then I started watching The Flash, and I just noticed that it felt like they were using the same villain for the first 3 seasons. It's like it's an evil speedster who's going after someone that Barry Allen, one of his loves or something, like a family member or someone close to him, and it felt like it was the same thing each season. I just got tired of it after a while because anyway, but
no, and I've always said that they were doing a great job with Smallville. It wasn't perfect. There's a lot of things that I would change about it, but that was back in the time this was before there was Marvel, right? And Warner Brothers was operating on the do not let your peas and carrots touch. If we do something on TV, we do one show. It's not connected to any other show that we're doing. It's not connected to any movies that we're doing. There's no connection. It's all separate universes. And I think that hurt them a great deal. And then Marvel comes along. They're like, everything's connected. This movie's connected to this movie. It's connected to that TV show, connected to that streaming show. It's connected to everything. And we're drawing directly from the comic books. And everyone's like, yay, this is wonderful. We love this. And Warner Brothers is like, oh, we should do that. But first, we're going to shut down everything that we're doing and start fresh. Snyderverse. Brilliant. Freaking genius. And then, of course, your Arrowverse, which was not even a spinoff. Anyway, I always said way back when they should have spun off their Arrowverse from Smallville.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Built on their successes, they should have followed the Next Generation model and spun Smallville up to the big screen as a Metropolis. He goes to Metropolis, starts working at the Daily Planet, continue those same characters. But no, they didn't do any of that. And they totally fell apart. So if you like that idea, if you agree with me, I have a group on MeWe fixing the DC cinematic universe, and on Friday I'm going to be doing a live stream talking about it a little bit more. Shameless plug. Tune
in. He may be allowing guests on, so you might get a shot at talking.
My idea is to do like I did on my birthday and have you guys cycle in, if you have something to share, some thoughts. We're going to brainstorm. If we were working on this alternate universe where we were in charge of Warner Brothers back in the early aughts, and we we're working with Smallville, how would we create this shared universe? So anyway, but that's not what we have. What we have is Batwoman. Yay!
Oh man, though. But Wolf then brings up a point. Too much repetition in the CW shows. Flash with villains and loved ones. Arrow with Oliver always keeping secrets. Legends, got nothing to say about them. I've heard Legends is the best of the CW shows. I've just never watched it. Okay, but I can't speak to whether it's good or bad. I know it's all connected though. But yeah. And I'm trying to think. Jedi Master Zootopia said Smallville was a ripoff of Buffy that came into its own in later seasons. I always thought when I first Smallville that it was reminding me of another show which went to the UPN. I think it was a UPN show called Roswell. It had a Roswell vibe to it, know?
Yeah, no, I get that. You're absolutely right. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that.
Yeah.
I would even say that if I'll give you your point. I'm not sure I totally agree with it, Jedi Masters Utopia, but Smallville being a ripoff of Buffy, I'm not necessarily seeing as a bad thing, because Buffy was a well-written story where you cared about those characters. It wasn't all 100% about her, It was a dramatic story where you cared about the characters, and it just so happened that it took place in a world filled with supernatural and vampires, and the lead character was the vampire slayer. Same thing with Smallville. It was a teen drama where you care about the characters, you care about their backstories, their troubles, their life, and whatnot. Just so happens that one of them happens to be from another planet with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. And that is what makes a good story. We say over and over and over again, it's not about the God among men with all of these powers who looks down on the little people. And no, it is about Clark Kent. And he happens to have, as Dean Cain said, Superman is what I do. Clark Kent is who I am.
Yeah.
And that's what Smallville was all about. The whole premise was it was about Clark Kent. And that's why you cared. That's where the Snyderverse goes horribly, horribly wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's the trouble. When we first see Batman and Superman meet each other, they're wanting to murder each other. First time we see Batman, he's almost like a crazy lunatic,
Which, as we said before, is completely ignoring the whole point of the story that they were basing it on. Dark Knight Returns was about an aged, grizzled Batman who has diverged from Superman. Superman has become, the figurehead of the government, and Batman has become the figurehead of the anti-establishment, freedom, and they're both good guys, but their philosophies have diverged so far that they find themselves at odds with each other. And that's what's tragic, because you end up with these two people that they were friends fighting on the same side for a generation. And now they're pitted against each other, and it's, and neither one of them really wants that, but that's what they've come to. And it's tragic. That is not the story that we got from Batman v Superman.
No.
That was two jerks, two anti-heroes that got into a pissing contest and were trying to kill each other. I don't care about that. That's
the movie Hollywood had been wanting to make for years, though. They were talking about that back in the 90s. We want the Batman versus Superman movie, and I think that's what those producers were having in mind. They wanted them,
And I don't want to get too far down this road. We'll talk more about this on Friday.
On your stream,
it really has become DC, Warner Brothers has the Snyderverse has become the cart in front of the horse model.
Yes.
Everything is, we want to tell the end of the story before we tell you the background of where these characters came from.
Yep.
And you're going, I don't give a crap, because I didn't care about the characters. You never gave me anything to care about. I mean, would you care about Buffy the Vampire Slayer if you saw the last episode first and you see a whole bunch of people getting killed? You go, who are these people? Why should I care? That's why I think what is it, Andor? What is that show that Star Wars is?
Andor, the prequel Andor, the Cassian Andor series, Andor.
A character I didn't much care about that I know gets killed in Rogue One. Yeah, let's go see how he became who he was before he dies.
This is like the Star Trek Discovery premiere when you have Michael Burnham and you see her cause this huge disaster for the Federation. Instead of starting out with her on the prison ship, and then maybe
she's my hero, right? I want to find out more about this woman.
But think about it. If they had, even from a narrative perspective, though, if you had been talking about, if you had her on the prison ship originally, and then you introduce the character, and then you see the old crew that don't like her, and then later on you show what happened that got her so despised. That's how you do that story. If you're going to do that story, if you want to do it, you don't do it. Show the thing first, and then show her on the prison ship. Do you understand?
Well, and it's also
you're not liking this character after that pilot.
There's also the concept of show, not tell. Yeah. Show me how great the hero is so that I care about them. Don't keep telling me they're great and expecting me to believe it.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on to Disney World is losing its magic. I posted it in the chat here. This is a little old, but it ties into some newer articles we're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go and read a quote from this article. It's been more than 5 years since this is from Disney World is losing its magic. As a lifelong fan, I worry it will never be coming back. This is a good little article you can check out over insider.com. But the author's saying it's been more than 5 years since I last visited, and a lot has changed at the theme parks. Ticket prices have been raised, classic attractions have been replaced with new ones, and beloved cast members have lost their jobs. When I first visited Disney World in 1997, single-day tickets for adults cost approximately $39, and single-day children's tickets cost around $32. according to the Disney planning website All Ears. 10 years later, 2007, single-day adult prices raised from between $67 and $71. Single children between 56 and 60.
Yeah.
And as a result of all the consistent price increases, single day Disney World tickets for both adults and children now cost more than $100, according to All Ears. That price increases even more if you choose to visit during peak season, or if you purchased a park hopper pass that allows you to go back and forth between the Disney World's 4 parks. So, he goes on to say other things. Price, food, souvenirs, holiday events, and more have also become increasingly expensive. In an article about price increases at the theme park between 2019 and the start of last year, the Disney food blog's Courtney Willington wrote, "It seems like Walt Disney World and the phrase price changes are attached at the hip." And I hate to say it, but last time I was at one of these Disney parks, it did feel like they were trying to pick my pockets after I went into the park. Well, you go in there and it feels like they're. Go ahead. Anyway, they're always trying to sell you something.
On the one hand, you almost have to kind of understand it. They are a business. They're trying to keep their head afloat. When they're losing money, they're just trying to stay afloat. So they gotta, charge extra for this and raise the prices on that. And
wasn't this before the pandemic when all these price increases were happening?
They were losing money before the pandemic. I specifically didn't mention the pandemic, because they will use that as an excuse. But no, they were losing money long before, and all the pandemic did was accelerate what was already happening. So this is the same thing that people living in California, for me, people living in Illinois, and honestly, people living in the United States at this point have been saying all along, keep raising keep raising taxes. All you're going to do is you're going to drive the people with the money out of your state and or your country, and you're going to keep squeezing the people that don't have money to begin with. And you lose money and lose money and lose money. Reagan was the one that always said, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't. Well, Reagan did say this, but it was Kennedy before him that said, and I'm paraphrasing, paradoxically, you find that you raise tax revenue by lowering taxes, because then people move into your state, they move into your country, they bring their money, and you have more people paying less tax. But overall, that means more revenue. So if you have more customers at your theme parks, you make more money than if you have less people that you're trying to charge more money to. And they're just in a downward spiral from a business standpoint is what I'm getting at. It's just how business works. This isn't even opinion. This isn't rumor. This isn't speculation. This is just simple mathematics, people. And I don't understand how people in business cannot see that.
Okay.
It's really simple math.
Well, do you think the prices are going to keep going up for the tickets of these parks?
I think the guys at Midnight's Edge said something that I hadn't thought of before, and it's brilliant when you really think about it. They said that Disney used to be a movie company with an incredible theme park experience. Now, the theme park is no longer a focus for them anymore. They are now a streaming service that happens to have a couple of theme parks.
It's
interesting.
They don't
care about them anymore.
It's interesting. Back in the 80s, when I was growing up, the theme parks, I think, were Disney's main source of revenue, because I think back in the 80s, they were not doing so hot in the box office. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I think what was keeping that company afloat was the fact that you could go to these parks, and going to the Disney parks in the 80s was wonderful. Yep. I remember going to Epcot. Going to Epcot felt like stepping into the future. Okay.
Yep.
And then they brought out the MGM studios, as they called it then. Universal came out a little while later, and I got to be blunt, that park dwarfed the MGM studios in size. I mean, because it's a much larger park, but we still go to the Disney parks. I've been to the Disney parks, I don't know how many times over the years. I don't want to go as far to say a dozen, but I've been there quite a few times. And I did notice last time I was there, though, it just was not as enjoyable experience. For starters, you have to wear these bands now when you're in the park too.
Yep, the
And
park hopper thingamahoosers,
whatever they call them. It's and I think it's they're trying to track your movements or something. I mean, they say it's for your own things. You can do the fast pass stuff and do all this other stuff. But I think they're doing some kind of.
And I know that the libertarians, you know, and I generally am one of them, is like, oh, they're tracking you, guys. It's actually a good thing in this circumstance. You want them to see what you're interested in, what you gravitate towards, so they can do more of that, right? They want to see what you're doing in the parks so that, if that's popular, let's put more funds to that. Nobody's going over there. Let's close that up and we'll expand the thing that's popular. That's a good thing. That's what they should be doing. That's what they should be doing with their movies when we're out here saying, that sucks, we want more of this, instead of, you're all istophobes, you're going to like what we give you.
Oh man, I don't know. I think a lot of I'm thinking back to they lost John Lasseter over Pixar because he got Me Too'd.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I've heard Soul is good though, so maybe it's still doing all right. I don't know if that was in the planning stages before he was forced out, but they have other things too. Planning a Disney vacation may get easier for you. And that's because of the
nobody's going. So if the park's empty, or nobody's getting on a flight and nobody's driving there, everybody wants to give you incentives to go.
They're saying though that they say though a lot of these pass holders have made a career out of abusing the system. I think they're talking about Disney influencloncers.
Yeah, I would. Again, not that they need our endorsement, but I would highly recommend you get over to Clownfish TV and Pirates and Princesses. I think it's piratesandprincesses.com. Those are the guys that really know that industry. They know Disney, and they're talking a lot about this. And they actually are and used to be influencers in quotes themselves for Disney. And they used to have the inside track and everything. And they just decided they weren't going to sell their souls anymore. They wanted to be honest. And so they started, they cut themselves off from all the perks that they were getting from Disney and just said, this is the way things work. And those pass holders, they said that it's interesting that the true Disney insiders, the Disney park reps and business people and stockholders actually refer to them as pass holes because they are not valuable to them and they are just jerks. And honestly, the average person going to the parks calls them that too because they think who the heck they are.
Yeah, they say let me see. In recent years, the introduction of any new theme from cupcakes to restrooms has met with long lines filled with social media influencers looking to cover the event. Resellers quickly gobble up every new retail item.
Yeah.
So what you get your Baby Yoda exclusive Galaxy's Edge figure and you sell it on eBay for like 15 times as much or something. Were they doing that? I don't know.
What happens is they get, because they're, connected, they get discounts because they're pass holders and whatnot. And so if you go and you buy a bunch of stuff at deep discounts because you're a pass holder, well, I can resell it at a resale value and make money on this. But here's the problem with that. There's very strict rules against that. Disney doesn't want you doing that. And if they catch you doing that, you lose your pass. And now they're seeing more and more people abusing, and they're not getting anything out of it. They're starting to realize that the way the internet works is, they don't actually have to give anyone anything special. There's enough people that just go and enjoy themselves and pay full price and do YouTube channels and whatnot. Look, you and I, maybe not very positively, but we're talking about Disney. And if any, media is good media, then they don't need to give us cupcakes. We're going to talk about them because, they're dealing in the genre that we care about. So they're already getting talked about.
But those cupcakes are good.
Like I need more cupcakes.
I don't know. Anyway, but
I I'll tell
Yeah,
you what, my wife makes pretty darn good cupcakes. I don't need anyone else's.
You don't need
cupcakes.
no Disney cupcakes.
I
Anyway,
got all the cupcakes I need at home waiting for me.
okay, all right. That'll be its own video. That one line. Okay, all right. But they
I
say
might
that,
have to do that one on Rumble. That would get us.
there you go. Entire websites and YouTube channels are now dedicated to tracking the drama between Disney influencers. This is nuts. They're saying they even have some influencers now questioning their symbiotic relationship with this massive corporation. But there seems to be an endless supply of fans willing to replace them. I have to admit, I'm in the dark on all this. So I guess this is a huge industry that cropped up.
So on the one hand, they refer to them as pass holes, but another phrase that Geeky Sparkles over at Clownfish uses, she refers to them as pixie dusters, and I guess that's a much more common phrase. A lot of people refer to them as pixie dusters. That would be to Disney what we refer to as Snyder Bros for the Snyderverse, and et cetera, et cetera. These people that Disney can do no wrong, and it's like a mantra. They love it, and they walk around in their lives wearing the ears, and talking about how great Disney is, and going to the parks on a regular basis. Well, the only people that are really making use of Disneyland in California are the locals, and the problem is once you This is the same thing that I've talked about with streaming services. Once they have your money, that's it. It's done. You're not getting any more money, no matter how good a service you provide. And that's kind of where you're stuck. You know your budget. It's done. And over in California, your pass holders buy their season passes, and that's it. They're not getting a bunch of tourists coming in and paying full price, and then they get more that's gravy money. No, that's not happening. They get their money from their pass holders, and now everything's free to everybody. Well, relatively speaking, And so they're going, no, we can't do that anymore. We're done. Now it's a huge gamble, I think, because I think what's going to happen is there aren't going to be any pass holders. Are those pass holders that were, making their living on YouTube talking about Disney going to now start paying full price and go on a semi-regular basis and continue to speak positively about Disney? I think not. I think what's going to happen is if they're, really dyed-in-the-wool Disney fans, they'll go once or twice in a season at full price, continue to do their show, but now they're going to be much more honest, and it's not going to be as positive for Disney. So there's a double whammy there. Now you've got a bunch of negative press out there of people saying, oh, this sucks now. And you're not getting the dollars that you used to. You're getting 1 or 2 off weekend from the people that used to go all the time, admittedly on a season pass. It's going to hurt them. Honestly, I was half joking about a month ago when I predicted I think they're just going to close up Disneyland in California and move, either put all their resources into Florida, or if they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket, open up a new park in, say, Texas.
Yeah, Texas would seem like the obvious pick for another location.
But I do think that the days of Disneyland California are numbered.
Yeah. Okay, but we have more news. We have Disney executive chair Bob Iger sees pay package plunge as he and CEO Bob Chapek forgo bonuses for pandemic-struck 2020. Now, would you say this is some positive buzz, maybe? Okay.
Well, let me temper that. Okay, let me back up for a second.
Only
okay,
21 million for the pay package from his 47 million the year before.
So we are always saying, as consumers, as people paying attention to business and whatnot, look, if the buck stops here and you're the person leading this business and you're making the big bucks to make the decisions, and your profits are down, why do you deserve the big bucks anymore? You're lucky that you even have your job, let alone that you get bonuses. if you stand behind your product, if you stand behind what you're doing and the decisions you're making, then when you don't pull a profit, you should have the cojones to say, you know what? I am going to forego my bonus this year. I didn't do well enough to earn it. People are going to go, hey, yeah, that's good leadership. I'm just saying the last president we had did exactly that. He forewent his presidential stipend and didn't take a salary because that's not why he was doing it. Heaven forbid anyone says anything good about Orange Man, but I'm just saying. But that's neither here nor there. So on the one hand, let's give him some credit where credit is due and say, yeah, that's good. You guys aren't making a profit. You're not taking a big paycheck at the end of the year because you didn't earn it. Yet, this is the same company that just a few months back, Christine McCarthy, Disney CFO, gets contract extension and $11 million annual incentive.
Yeah, I have a quote for you from that.
Talking about that back then.
Yeah, Disney is not doing well. People are being furloughed and laid off right and left. But CFO Christine McCarthy just got a contract extension a year and a half until December 30th, 2022, and gives her an equity-based long-term incentive compensation with a target award value of $11 million.
Yeah. So I don't know. Did they do that and go woof? Yeah, maybe this wasn't such a brilliant idea, and now they've changed their mind and they're backing off. I don't know. But this is the same company that did that. I'm not prepared to give them too many kudos for the Bobs. You know, they have a long way to go to earn back the trust of their customers and the general public. And they're stockholders, damn it. I'm a stockholder. You know, I was not happy about this Christine McCarthy contract. So no, I'm willing to accept that maybe they figured out they screwed up, but I'm not willing to give them any kudos for this.
Okay, but yeah, so that's our Disney news of the week. I'm sure we'll have something new next week because they're always in the news, right?
Yeah, they sure are.
Okay, now I don't know.
There's going to come a day when they're not going to be in the news, and that's not going to be a happy day for Disney or their stockholders.
All right, so I think we have time for maybe one or two more stories. Do we want to do Willy Wonka prequel or Army Hammer news? What do you think? I know.
I consider both of these to be fluff pieces. I don't really care either way.
Why don't we we're going to do Army Hammer because I didn't get to him last week. This is dated news, though, but I've been wanting to talk about this. Okay.
So why don't you take the spearhead on this? I think this is the goofiest thing I've seen.
I'm going to take the spearhead. Okay. Army Hammer shotgun wedding role to be recast amid social media scandal. Well, I'm intrigued by that title. What's the scandal? I guess everybody has a scandal.
Did he put beep boop in his pronouns or something?
Yeah, or he could be yelling at half of the voting demographic or something. But no. Army Hammer,
that would make him more popular.
So obviously it's not that unless he's going after certain candidates. Okay,
exactly.
So what is it? Everybody's anxious because they haven't heard this news a week ago.
Right.
Okay. Army Hammer has stepped away from his role opposite Jennifer Lopez in the upcoming Shotgun Wedding, I guess that's a movie, decrying vicious and spurious online attacks against him as the cause. Well, that's not very nice. Okay. I'm not responding to these bullshit claims, but in light of the vicious and spurious online attacks against me, I cannot in good conscience now leave my children for 4 months to shoot a film in the Dominican Republic. Lionsgate is supporting me in this, and I am grateful to them for that, Hammer said in a statement. Okay, well, okay. We'll give him his day in court. Okay, right. And so what are these accusations? Well,
did he poop in someone's bed?
Well, yeah, the messages shared great. No, I don't know. The messages shared graphic sexual fantasies going as far as cannibalism. with the actor appearing to write to a woman on the app that he is 100% a cannibal and desired to drink your blood. Okay. And this is from another article. So apparently, I think they even interviewed him a little while back, and they said if you could have dinner with one person, living or dead, who would it be? And I think he said the Marquis de Sade, which
Well, okay.
it's an
I
interesting
mean,
choice.
come on, that's
You could pick anyone. You could pick Elvis Presley, but he went with
it's
the
a
Marquis
Lord
de Sade.
Byron. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, he's like Lord Byron, except yeah, okay. But apparently his ex had some stuff to say about him as well.
Does she have all of her digits? I mean, did she get away without,
Okay, well, Army Hammer's latest ex-gal pal says the romance was like dating a wannabe Hannibal Lecter, as the Hollywood star's idea of pillow talk was fantasizing about which of her body parts he'd like to roast and devour. Now, is that normal? I mean, what do you think?
Look,
that could be endearing, right?
I am not. I look for all the ranting that I do on this channel. I am pretty non-judgmental. Okay, I say live and let live. Right? I mean, I am not into marriage. I have my opinions about what marriage is and what relationships ought to be, but what you decide to do, entirely up to you and whoever you're doing it with, right?
Okay.
When it comes to this, did he actually kill somebody and eat them? If not, it's just talk. It's fantasy. It's none of anybody's business. I don't care. If you are going to go and be in a relationship with somebody and you're going to out all of the things that happen behind closed doors and whatnot, you're a POS, in my opinion. I don't know who Armie Hammer is. I don't care who he is.
Played the Lone Ranger.
I don't know who Armie Hammer is. Okay. I don't care who Armie. I did see that movie. Okay. I did see the rewatch that the professor did, and I remember kind of liking it better than I thought I would. But there's nothing about him personally that stands out in my head.
He never took off. He was supposed to be the next big action star. They had a bunch of guys like this. Armie Hammer, the guy was in Avatar, but he was in other movies too. Why am I so bad?
So what it comes down to, though, is I think everybody is either so repressed that they're no fun, or they're freaks. Okay. And that's fine, because it's who you are behind your eyeballs. Okay. And the only people that need to know that is you and whoever you have a relationship with. You better trust that person, that they're not going to go and tell everybody about your, quirky, little fantasies. Which apparently,
like cutting off one of your girlfriend's toes and keeping it in your pocket. So I always have a piece of my possession.
Did he do it? If he didn't do it, then it's just fiction. Okay. And you can play along. If you don't want to play along, you end the relationship and you go your separate ways.
So what you do in your bedroom is in your house is your business.
Look, people are out there dressing up in costumes, pretending to be animals. I don't know. I mean,
okay.
Mommy, daddy, whatever. I don't care. People do this stuff. This is Hollywood, for crying out loud. There are way worse things going on out there. I'm looking at you, Netflix.
Yeah, well, that's true. But
so this seems pretty tame to me. This is somebody wrote the book and the movie about Hannibal Lecter. Okay, there must be some interest in that topic.
Yeah, I was going to make the joke. Unfortunately, got spoiled on the view that he was up for the role of Hannibal Lecter on that new Clarice series, but this scandal, he lost the cast. I'm sorry. Okay, not that funny. Okay,
that would have been brilliant marketing. They should have gone with that.
I know. Anyway,
they missed an opportunity there.
Forbes writer Scott Mendelson recently declared that generic, handsome white guy actors like Armie Hammer are expendable in current Hollywood culture.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
No. I mean, let's start with the fact that Scott Mendelsohn's a piece of shit. I mean, he can just go right the hell to hell. Right the hell to hell.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, well, you know what I mean. He can
Yes.
go to that place. Okay, he's completely worthless, and this has less to do with Armie Hammer than it does with a white boy hating white boys. Okay, and another
probably a non-handsome white boy hating
and another POS social justice warrior who hates himself because he's white. You know.
Okay, I am going to
racist. You know.
I am going to say that for a while, Hollywood has had the problem is that they try. This goes back to the golden age of Hollywood. You would test out a leading man, and then the trouble is his movies just wouldn't take off. Okay, this has happened time and time again. Okay, in Hollywood, it's nothing new. It's it has nothing to do with the color of the skin either. It's just
you're absolutely right.
Sometimes actors make it and then actors don't. Okay, that's what happens.
Is the genre, right? I mean, we're not talking about people with great acting chops that have incredible skill and can play a whole different variety of roles. We're talking about a piece of meat playing an action character, or we're talking about a beautiful woman playing a sex pot. Anybody could do that. Anybody who's attractive can get away with playing these roles. Okay. If you're going to be successful, you need to have more skill than just your looks. I'm looking at Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm looking at Sylvester Stallone. We're talking about people that have vision, that have talent. For Sylvester Stallone, writing ability.
Yes.
People forget he wrote a lot of these movies.
Yeah, I think he wrote a couple of the Rambos too, in addition to the Rockies, right?
Yeah, he was if he didn't write it, he was a huge contributor to the first Rocky movie. That movie was, go back and watch it, a genius piece of Hollywood. That's a great story. That's not an action film. That's a drama.
Yeah.
It became a series of action films, but it was a drama. And I think that it's come back around now with the what's it called? What are the new movies now in that line? That Carl Weathers' character's son.
Creed.
Creed. Yeah. Creed's come back around as the dramas again. Again, spearheaded by Stallone.
Yes.
Because we're talking real talent here.
Yes.
But yeah, for every one Sylvester Stallone out there, there's 1,000 pretty boys, regardless of color and background, that can do great movies, but they're typecast because that's all they can do, and then people forget about them when they want to move on to something more interesting.
Yeah.
And again, that has nothing to do with color. You can be black and be a pretty boy. You can be white and be a pretty boy. I don't know.
But you need something more than that.
Exactly.
Okay, but I think we have time for one more story. Do you want to do this is a quick one. Ghostbusters Afterlife reveals franchise's newest specter called Muncher.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw that.
That?
I had a moment of cognitive dissonance looking at that, because my first thought was, this completely blows the canon of Slimer. And then I stopped and thought about it for a little bit, and I'm like, what canon for Slimer? We don't know anything about Slimer, like in quotes, before he died or any of that. It's the fans have built up stuff in their heads, but it's not really there. So this whole idea of there being a genre, or not a genre, but a ghost type, that could have, a different style. You got Slimer, who's, the green gobbler, and then you got a blue one that looks a little different. And, that there could be something there. And when you put that in the scope of Ghostbusters, I'm like, this could work, and this could be really, really good.
I am wondering if because I know this pops up, I believe, in Chinese culture and Japanese culture, whatever, hungry ghosts. And I don't know, I'm probably talking out of my butt here. But I'm
no, that's a great point.
And I wonder if that's what type of monsters these are, or ghosts are.
One of the great things about Ghostbusters, for as goofy and silly as it was, the ghost talk was not just stuff they were pulling out of their asses. Dan Aykroyd knew what he was talking about. And if he researched it.
Like ectoplasm. That was the thing,
the folklore and the mythology behind ghosts is out there, and he was true to it. Now, he's an absolute true believer in that stuff. I'm not prepared to say how much I feel about that, but I honestly believe that if there's, if there is a source, be true to that source, and he absolutely is. I love that about the Ghostbusters. They threw all that out in 2016, but it is kind of looking like they're going back to that. And by you making that connection, that just makes me feel even better about this.
Yeah. And it's just a type, Yeah, and there'll be more. Like I always wondered. It's funny. I remember the Ghostbusters game on the Sega Genesis, and they had different. They had all the ghosts from the movie in it, but they had different origin stories for it. Like they had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in there, but they didn't go with the Gozer line for him, right? So instead, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was a man in real life who ate so many Stay Puft marshmallows that he died. And it was kind of neat. They had like different, because they used they had original ghosts in the game, but of course they would have Slimer in there and the Stay Puft because they were like
well, you would have to, right? Because after the Gozer incident, that entity that was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, which was the instrument of the destruction of the world, right, was eradicated. So if you bring back the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, it's got to be completely unrelated. So I'm totally fine with that. That doesn't break continuity. That's kind of sticking to continuity.
Yeah. Oh, look, our artificial journey says hungry ghosts are based on the Preda from Buddhism. It's not just hunger, but it gets close enough. Yeah, and that explains why it probably shows up in both Japanese and Chinese.
I think that's brilliant. That is absolutely genius.
But
and I love that whole idea of digging into real world. Now they'll probably come up with a fictional book that they pull from or something like that. That's fine. But I love the lore behind real Ghostbusters, and I don't just mean real Ghostbusters the cartoon. I mean real Ghostbusters anything prior to 2016. I got from I got the new Ghostbusters kit that comes with the patch and the business cards and the book for rookie Ghostbusters, and it talks about the different types of ghosts, and it's totally complementary to the role-playing game, which totally fits with what you see in the cartoon.
Oh, I remember the role-playing game. Yeah.
And it talks about, type 1, type 2, and so forth. And, it defines them and what they are and gives you the general, just like you would if you were a naturalist and you were talking about types of animals and how they're related and families and phylums and genuses. They have this kind of a schema for ghosts too. So yeah, I'm kind of fired up about this. And again, this is the way you do a sequel, Also, though, I'm going to say that they're pushing it off again. It looks like the release date. I think this is another one that was mentioned in that article we talked about at the top of the show. And I do think they are looking for a bit of a bailout on this one. Hopefully, again, that means they're going to take their time and make sure that it's good. But this is how many years after the movie that it's a sequel to. So there is no hurry to get it out there. It's not like, we got to put out a movie every 2 years, in order to, no, this is fine.
Well, I'm going to say this. This gives me a little bit more hope for this movie. I mean, I like the description. Muncher has 6 arms, legs, blue skin, and numerous wrinkles, which, they say makes him look like a stunt double for the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland. Yeah. I like the fact that the ghosts look different. Okay, yeah. that gives imagination. And back to Norma says hungry ghosts are more about greed than gluttony, if you look at it in terms of the 7 deadly sins. So that's interesting. You know what's funny? Nintendo made this game called Yokai Watch. It was like I think it was compared to as being like Pokemon, but you collect ghosts, right? And they did Nintendo does these streams where they show off their products, right? So they had one of the guys who works for Nintendo, like he goes into this meeting room, right, and he sees a big thing of donuts, and then like they have one of the ghosts from the game called Hungry Grandpa, like it's hovering over him and it gets into him, and he just starts eating all of the donuts, and then the president of Nintendo America comes in, hey, I got us some snacks for this long meeting. Bill, what did you do, Bill? And like all the donuts are eaten up, and that's where I got the idea of Slimer, you know.
It just made me think of the Treehouse of Terror, where Homer dies and goes to hell, and he gets pushed into a machine that feeds him donuts and just keeps shoving them into his mouth. And there's a machine that opens his mouth and closes it. And he's more.
I remember that. That's reminded me of that was.
What you're not supposed to be enjoying this. More. No.
I said most people crack after 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. But I love those early Simpsons Halloween specials. I haven't seen any of the more recent ones, but
very much in the same spirit as Ghostbusters. I mean, I have been looking forward to this. Well, you guys know I've been putting the costumes together for me and Netter. We want to go to the theater in costume as Ghostbusters. We're definitely doing this thing.
Yeah, and so no, that'll be cool. You got to show off those costumes when you put them on or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
But anyway, we should run.
Mr. Match's telling us wrap it up. He's tapping his wrist.
Well, I have to go on a stream next too, so I have to wrap it up because I'm gonna be on there. So we're gonna be talking Lupin the Third, the first brand new release on DVD and Blu-ray. I believe it's also available streaming places. It's a great movie. It's a CG debut for Lupin the Third, and I'm a huge Lupin the Third nut. So it's my favorite anime character, probably favorite Japanese character. Period. Okay, of all the original characters they made over there. But anyway, going on tomorrow though, I believe Sound Engraver has a stream. Correct?
Yep. Don't know what the topic is, but you know it's going to be awesome.
Okay.
Tuesday, I know that the professor has over on the is he on the Bible Geek for that? He's got a.
How about WandaVision?
Yeah, that's okay. WandaVision. They're 3 episodes into it. It's a show that exists. A lot of people are excited about it.
We covered WandaVision. WandaVision. Here's what I say about WandaVision. It looks interesting to me, and I haven't. If I had it available, I would watch it just because I'm curious about it. I'll
saw the first 3 episodes. Very Lost-esque in that, there's something goofy going on.
Well, it looks like a sitcom, like a tribute to old sitcoms.
Well,
so I'm kind of curious. So.
And most fans assume that this is very much like House of M. Wanda has created a fictional universe for herself to live in. Seems very like she's taken over a town. These townsfolk kind of know what's happening and want to get out, but they can't.
It almost sounds like some of the Twilight Zone.
Very much, very much.
No WandaVision talk. Yes, okay. Leia plus size. We will probably do more of it next week because it's an ongoing thing, right?
Yeah, by then we'll have another episode under our belt, and I think we'll have more to say about it. But
okay, all right. But what else did I want to say?
You're getting down to like 2 minutes, so I'm just dropping the link again for my Friday night because that's different from what we usually have. Otherwise, the rest of the week is pretty much the standard regular players. You guys know what's going on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Wednesdays, Birdman and Green Line Girls
Girl in the evening, and Fan Man will be doing a second Cup Cafe Wednesdays and Fridays.
And Saturdays, the rewatch over on Al's channel. So.
Okay, and but the big thing is, of course, is Troy's stream Friday. Tune in. You may be a guest. Okay.
Yep. If you want to be, I will be dropping a link. If you got a camera, well, you don't even have to go on camera. If you just got a microphone, or even if you want to do it on your phone, you can do it on your phone.
Like me, okay? No. All right. Anyways, but soundtracks of Birdman this week will be Gladiator, which I hear is a 3-hour movie, which I've seen before, so that'll be interesting. Okay, but yeah, check out the Professor Geek Network on Facebook too for more information on this stuff too.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, it was a great stream. Thank you all for showing up. We'll be back next week.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for not dumping me in the middle of the stream when I started to get a little bit crazy.
And we sang Happy Birthday, which was interesting. Okay. Happy birthday, Leia plus size.
Yep. Take care, y'all.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. I'm going to play the bell for, well, not the last time, but one of the
Possibly the last time. Depends.
And I'm still alive.